And with that, we will go to the Wayne County Commissioners' 8th District, and it is Nina Fawaz and David Knezek. So Nina and David, if you can unmute yourselves, we will have opening statements alphabetically. Nina will begin. 2 minutes.
My apologies, Lisa, you didn't catch this on your chat. Unfortunately, we called upon Nina and Nina has not been able to connect so far. So
okay.
Dave will be our only speaker.
Okay, well then that's easy. I don't have to look at my sheet and go back and forth. David, how are you? Nice to see you.
Good to see you too, Lisa. I could give 2 different sides to an answer if you'd like.
Turn. So why don't we start? Go ahead with your opening statement.
Well, sure. I'll just keep it casual here. Good evening again to everybody, and thank you to the 11th District Dems for the opportunity to be with you here this evening. Again, my name is David Knezek. I'm currently the Wayne County Commissioner for the 8th District. So I represent all of Redford Township, all of Dearborn Heights, and 3 precincts in the city of Livonia. That is where we overlap with the 11th. But I've said it time and time again, both here at the Livonia.
Are you going?
I've said it time and time again, both here and at the Livonia Dems, that it doesn't matter how big or how small the community is that I'm representing, they're still going to get the same level of constituent services and attention. I'm very proud of the fact of the record that I bring to this office, not just as a state representative and as a state senator, but also as a United States Marine and as the Director of Legislative Affairs to our Attorney General, Dana Nessel. This is unique in that 4 months ago, I was not in this role. My predecessor resigned from office and I was unanimously appointed to the Wayne County Commission back in February. And so just as I was starting to hit the ground running, everything came to a screeching halt with COVID and the role and responsibility changed in a drastic way. Since then, I've been so happy and excited to be reconnecting with the community, getting PPE out to our first responders, taking food directly to our senior citizens, doing everything that we can to rise to the challenge of today. So again, appreciate the opportunity to be here, look forward to answering your questions, and hope to earn not just your vote, but your trust ahead of the August primary. Thank you. I think you muted, Lisa.
Muted. I have a little dog that barks in the background. I keep muting. The county has drastically cut its workforce in recruitment, and retention for positions is challenging. How would you, as a commissioner, work to change that?
Well, to me, the big question is retention itself. And you know, if we were having this interview 6 years ago, 8 years ago, relative to Wayne County, we'd be having a very different conversation. The economy was in a different place. We were having to make even larger cuts than what we're seeing today. We haven't rebounded in the ways that I would have liked to see. And part of that, in my opinion, just breaks down to the concept of pay and benefits. The greatest retention tool that I think that you can offer to any employee is paying them a living wage, paying them a commensurate wage, and then providing them with the healthcare benefits, the retirement benefits, the childcare benefits, you name it, that they need to be an active and engaged employee. And so as we work towards even better and stronger economic ties, as the coffers within the county continue to be replenished and continue to grow, I'm not looking for ways that I can spend that money on county commissioners. I'm not looking for ways to spend that money on pet projects. I'm looking for ways that we can take that money and put it directly into the pockets of our workers. Not only is it the right thing to do, not only have they earned it, but we also know that's going to be a great stimulus to our economy as those workers go out and reinvest those dollars back in their local communities, our local communities here in Wayne County. So for me, as the dollars come in, we're going to make sure that we steer them directly to the employees, because that's where the benefits, or where we stand to benefit the most, and where I think the need is greatest.
Thank you. If elected, what is the greatest priority you look forward to working on in January 2021?
You know, whenever I'm asked what my top priority is, I always say the same thing. And I think, you know, maybe it's frustrating to folks sometimes that they don't understand why, but constituent services is always my #1 issue. If you don't have an office that is responsive to the constituents that you're serving, you failed. If you have not built that trust between you and the men and women that you are trying to represent, you failed. And so not only do I have or seek to have an active and engaged and a proactive office, I'm really proud of the fact that throughout the years, people have come to know that when they pick up the phone and they call me, we're going to get you an answer. I may not be the right person to bring that problem to fruition, but I'm certainly going to connect you to the person who can. And I'm going to follow up with you to make sure that you got your issue taken care of. So, it could be very unique issues from Livonia to Redford to Dearborn Heights. It could be economic development in Livonia. It could be the Ecorse Creek down there in Dearborn Heights that we're working on. Certainly, as folks know, by way of PA 51, things are different between our relationship with the township and the county. But for me, making sure that we are present, we're active, we're engaged, we're responsive, and we're getting people from point A to point B and restoring that faith in government, that is always my top priority.
Excellent, thank you. For transparency's sake, who makes up most of your donor base?
I thought I might get this one when it was asked of Ranjiv and Ethan there. And so I went to Act Blue and I pulled it up and I crunched the numbers. Do I have some PAC donations? Absolutely. We're talking about the Michigan Regional Council of Carpenters. We're talking about the UAW. These are working men and women who have pooled their money together to try and support candidates who are passionate about their issues. When you break it down dollar for dollar, 98.6% of my donations are coming directly from individuals, not just here in Wayne County, but across the state of Michigan. I looked it up. I've even got a friend down in West Virginia who shot up $25 to be supportive. So proud of the fact that it's all coming from individuals and proud to be a part of a party who understands and appreciates the importance of getting big money out of politics and the influence of big money out of politics and being responsive to those small dollar donors that make this country work.
Excellent, thank you. What are your plans to improve racial justice in your community? And have you participated in the Black Lives Matter demonstration in person or through other ways?
That's a great question. I certainly appreciate it. In general, I will say that I don't think that there is anything more patriotic. And I say this as a veteran. I don't think there is anything more patriotic than to notice the flaws in our country and to want to do better, to want to be better. The exact opposite of what we're seeing from so many people today. And that is to ignorantly claim that things are perfect and things are great, and they want to disregard the major problems that we need fixing in this country. So yes, I've participated directly in some of the Black Lives Matter protests, the marches. I'm going to be doing again this Sunday in Dearborn Heights as we have one. I've contributed my dollars to individuals who have reached out in need of personal protective equipment, water, bandages, you name it, things to take care of them in case they get injured. And so I think relative to this entire conversation, what's so important for me right now is making sure that the fight that we're seeing today, the attention that we're seeing paid to these issues today, doesn't become an afterthought in just a few weeks. And part of that challenge starts with each and every one of us. It starts with me. It starts with acknowledging that when it comes to righting the wrongs of this country, to addressing racial justice and injustices head on, we are never finished. We have to go beyond our personal biases. We have to go beyond our personal prejudices and talk about the systemic racism that we see, not just in the policing that we're talking about right now in our public dialogue, but in our housing system, in our nonprofit organizations, in our corporate lives, in our news, in our politics, our employment, our healthcare. And then to your point, Lisa, find a lane that we're comfortable with to occupy. Maybe it's marching, maybe it's volunteering, maybe it's donating those dollars, but starting to learn and to understand and to recognize your own privilege, to validate the experiences of others, to challenge ourselves, to be intentional with our words, with our leadership, with our actions, and to know when it's time to shut up and listen and to follow the lead of other people. Whether it's in my hiring practices, whether it's in my internship experiences, whether it's in the organizations that I associate myself with, I think that the fight is far from over. I'm sorry, I could keep talking.
Thank you. Nope. Thank you so much. And, I have a great question here from Kate. Transparency, Kate Chashovsky, who's president of the Livonia Dems. Transparency has not been a popular issue in Wayne County government. How are you going to work to change that?
Well, I'm very proud of the fact that for a number of people on the Wayne County Commission, transparency is a very important issue. It was an important issue for my predecessor. It's an important
It was.
So I'm certainly proud to align myself with those individuals who want to make Wayne County more open, more transparent. I think about when I was in the House and in the Senate, everything that I did was televised. Everything that I did was transcribed. Everything that I did was made public. I could be held accountable as a rep and a senator. It is anathema to me why the same expectations would not be had of our county commissioners, of our city council members, you name it. And so when you talk about transparency in Wayne County government, sign me up and let me be the first to volunteer my office to be the most transparent and accountable office amongst our commissioners. I know I've got one of my colleagues on here who does a phenomenal job and is just as, if not more transparent and is setting a great example for me. That's Melissa Daub. I think I saw in the question too about Hines Park. Did you want me to go into that? No, or no?
I didn't see that one. I did see this. Wayne County will get less revenue this year. How will you balance the budget without hurting the union employees and retirees who've taken cuts in the past? I used to work for Wayne County. I know that it's just a terrible thing.
Well, and I certainly have a number of my family members who have experienced those budget cuts, both in their retirement, their pensions, you name it. And so for me, it really comes down to drawing that line in the sand. We have a almost $2 billion budget in Wayne County. And like my predecessors who were talking, Ranjiv and Ethan, you've got a choice that you have to make. Are you going to balance this budget on the backs of working people? Or are you going to find areas where the government is spending inappropriately or overspending and look to cut there first? My approach has always been to find the places where government is least efficient and to start there first, and not to start with the working men and women of our county. So one of the things that I'm very proud of is the fact that I've been put onto the audit committee. We're responsible for auditing the expenses of the county. And just the last 4 months, I've certainly learned a lot from my colleagues about where you need to be looking, the questions you need to be asking, who you need to be asking them of, and how you need to be asking those questions to get yourself the right answer. But for me, again, it comes down to line in the sand. We're not balancing this budget on the backs of working people. We're going to find it from somewhere else. Period.
Excellent. Thank you so much. With that, I did not see the. I just saw you. The Hines Park question. How will you protect Edward Hines Park? Near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, and same. I spent a lot of summers. Wish I was spending some more time lately down on Hines Park. And so for me, it's understanding and leading from a place of values. I value having publicly available park space. I value having that space maintained and protected for people to enjoy. I don't support selling off that park space for the purposes of driving corporate profits or you name it. An issue that we're considering right now is at the intersection of, I believe it's Middle Belt. If it's not Middle Belt, it's Merriman. And Warren Road, where they want to sell off a parcel of the public parkland for the purposes of commercial development. And folks, here's the thing. Once you sell it, it's gone. It ain't coming back. And so for me, again, it's just prioritizing, protecting our public lands, protecting our environment, and maintaining it for everybody to enjoy, as opposed to selling it off to the highest bidder. So for me, again, it's about protecting our parks and maintaining them for years to come.
Excellent. Thank you. And with that, we are going to go to closing statements. Please take a minute.
If folks don't mind, I just want to say, going after Ethan and going after Ranjiv, when I got elected to the state house in 2012, I was 25 years old. And to have a young person in elected office in Lansing at the time, it was really unheard of and really strange. And seeing that both candidates we have to choose from in that race are young gentlemen, seeing the number of young candidates run across the state, for me, it's just so incredibly empowering and so great to see. And I think I'm just struggling to come to terms with the fact that at 33, I'm making the transition to the older politician, the older elected official. So with my 30 seconds, I'll just say this. I'm going to kick butt from now until August 4th. We're going to win this race, but it's not going to stop there. When I lost my election in 2012, I went all around the state campaigning to make sure that we could pick up a majority to win the governor's office, the AG, the Secretary of State. We picked up 6 seats 5 seats in the state Senate, a number of seats in the state House. You can expect that same level of commitment to me after my election in August. It doesn't stop with me because it's about more than me. It's about each and every one of us. So again, thanks for having me here. I'm sorry for going over my time.
Nope. Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're a terrific candidate, and we thank you for participating here with us today. With that, we'll say goodnight. Thank you.